Well, it's nice to see everybody. Hope you guys are having an awesome night, and I'm looking forward to some great things starting ahead here. And Glenn and I are ready, and I want to thank Ian again for hosting all this for everyone.
Thank you for having
Absolutely,
us.
guys. I see there's just a few people on. Let me see is it a list of everybody? Oh, there's quite a few more. I can't see it all on my screen. But anyway, it's a couple of minutes to 7. We're going to start exactly at 7 o'clock. It is the pleasure of myself and the Long Beach Chamber of Commerce to host this briefing. Very privileged to have Glenn and Mark on board. They're going to introduce themselves and get going with this fantastic AI briefing. So I'll pass it right over to you, Mark and Glenn.
Well, hey, it's great to be here, everybody. We've got a lot to get started for. I'm not sure what time it is. For some reason, I can't see my time, but I think we're about 1 minute in, so we won't necessarily start beforehand. But I just want to make sure that you all can hear me. So if you can, just maybe go to your chat if you have that available, and at least put a little thing in here. Hey, we can hear you, to make sure you all can hear us.
Yeah, I'm going to be monitoring the chat as we go along. And if anybody has
Okay.
any questions, they can certainly put it directly into the chat. I would ask that you hold all your questions until the end, and then Mark and Glenn are going to take some questions from you.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, it is time to get going. 10 seconds. And so let me start it over here. We have a really exciting evening together. I don't really know this is you all in, but if in the text you could actually just maybe put that would be really helpful, because we could actually make it more relevant for business. Because this is 25,000 businesses, all businesses. You're going to see we've helped probably 60 of the Fortune 100 companies. So we got a wide variety of things we can do. And Glenn, just in the area of helping Adobe get people into publishing, he's helped thousands of people. That a bunch of other things. So we've got a pretty interesting experience in a lot of different places, and our experience is pretty wide. But I'd like to be able to focus it for what you guys need. So as we talk about different things, we'll put it on a bent on. I saw we had several lawyers attending. We have certain different types of people. So if you could just go ahead and tell us what you actually have there, so at least we can keep a good handle on it. If you don't put it in, we can't use that. Now, Glenn and I get well into the 4 figures an hour for our services. So you might as well take advantage of it, because Ian twisted my arm and said, hey, can you do this for us? We really need to have some great stuff here. So we're not charging for this or anything. And really, there's nothing even for sale on this session. We're actually just doing this to help you. And of course, you need some help going forward. We've got some great things for you to do that as well. So hopefully, if one of the guests could make sure that they actually text, because I'm not seeing any text from anybody yet. I see people joining, and it could be like turned off for guests or something like that. So if you could make sure that it's some of you just put in the type of company you're in, that would be really great before we get started. Okay, great. We got David there. Okay, excellent. Okay, so at least I got a hello. That's fantastic. Really important, though, that you maybe put, okay, digital marketing, fantastic. We got some really good stuff for that, of course, for you. And whatever your industry is, just put it in there. We'll get going. So this particular session, we're going to talk a lot about Glenn and I and how we work in here. But first, we want to talk about the reasons why we're here. As you know, AI is a tsunami trend. We've been in the business for a couple decades in the AI business. It all started with expert systems, really, is what it was. Is really AI is just simply advanced software. Now, in these day and ages, it's turned into a little bit what is considered more than advanced software, but in the end, it's really just software that is able to do a lot more than it used to do. So we're going to talk about how to systemize, optimize, and profitize your company. What that means is you get freedom, you get a lot of other elements that you want in every facet of your business, and it's all about really supercharging this with advanced AI. Hey, Glenn, you want to say a couple words as we get started? Oh, you're on mute.
To help if I turn my speaker on. It's really great to have all of you on this evening. I'm in Naples, Florida, and Mark and I are really excited tonight to talk to you about advanced AI and how to integrate it into your own use and into your company with an implementation plan. And that's what we're going to be focusing on this evening. If you're like all the people that we're talking to every single day, people are business owners are overwhelmed, feeling behind, trying to use this prompt, use this piece of software, and there's no guiding systematic strategy behind all of that. And so we're going to cut through all the clutter, cut through all the noise this evening, and really help you build a plan for your company to scale.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate that, Glenn. Got a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to go a little bit fast, but in the areas when it could be a challenge, just you can put chat little notes in there, and we'll address your issues in the end. But it will also have the finger on the pulse a little bit. In our short time together, look, we have an intention to really help you understand a few things, and one of the things in any field is, of course, confidence. Confidence in moving forward when we're into a bunch of uncertainty about what should I use? Should I use this? Should I use that? And if you think you're already overwhelmed with what's possible with AI, when you see what's coming, or if you could see what we're seeing every day, it's actually mind blowing to most people. So we need a little bit of certainty about how to utilize this best for your business. Secondly, we want clarity, right? If we can't see where we're going and we have confusion, confused minds don't act. And therefore, that delay is going to cause us a lot of challenges in our businesses and our enterprises with our clients and with everybody else. And of course, that doesn't create the kind of profitability we're looking for. And of course, the most important thing is if we had the best 1 hour briefing here for you, and effectively we showed you the best strategies that you can take, but you did not effectively take action on it, it would actually be a tragedy, really. And so therefore, we want to talk about how to create an AI-powered business machine for your company. And you're going to see what that actually really means. And then lastly, if you get some time, we're going to try to really help you discover what's really possible when this is done right. A lot of people are having a lot of fun on ChatGPT and things like that, which is a great toy, or even sometimes a tool if people know how to use it right. But the truth is that it's far bigger than that. And there's so many important things that you need to have be enterprise ready. I know most of you are not, maybe you're smaller companies, but you need to look and see as what you will be, not what you are. So it's really important that we look at this. And if nothing else, this is what we're going to help you on this call. We're going to help you to exponentially grow your business. That is our core business for many, many years. We help lots of companies, lots of industries. We even help consulting companies teach their clients on how to grow their business. We're talking about pretty large ones. And then secondly, we want to make sure that we help you bring on a lot more clients, sales, and even profits in a lot faster kind of way. We want to turn every customer into a raving fan. Actually, it's even bigger than that. The golden rule is our motto in our company, and we want to actually think about everybody who affects our companies and our clients' companies. Where we want our clients to be raving fans, but we also want our employees to be raving fans. We want our vendors to be raving fans. We want our investors to be raving fans, the media to be raving fans, the communities we serve to be raving fans. Everybody in our organization should be a raving fan. And if we do that, boy, I'll tell you what's possible is we get to be raving fans too, and get to make a lot of money because we'll have an enterprise that everybody wants to work for, invest in, and all of that. So there's a lot of good stuff we're going to do there. And we're going to save you a boatload of time in the process, because what even just a few short years ago took sometimes many years to do can now be done a lot quicker, as you'll see. And on top of that, we're going to show you how to supercharge all the things I just talked about with advanced AI, and how everything can get done faster with AI, and what I call controlled acceleration. Acceleration without direction and without being able to hold on tight appropriately can be very daunting. And therefore, any kind of scaling, if any of you are trying to grow your business, we're going to talk about how you can do that with controlled acceleration. And then we're going to show you how to systemize, optimize, and profitize your company a lot quicker and easier with AI. And you're going to see how that helps you. So things we're going to need from you, this is like a two-way street here. So as an example, several you put in the types of industries you're in. Fantastic. Really appreciate that. The feedback is important, but there's a couple things we need. We need you to pay attention. We'll turn the phones off for 1 hour. Let us get through this. And it's going to be one of the most important times you'll ever invest in your company. I can pretty much assure that and guarantee it. If you're paying, I'd guarantee it financially, right? And then take notes. Basically, we want to make sure that we're taking notes in a way that's going to be really important for the things you want to take action on. I'd like to always put a checkbox next to my notes where I write things just so I know that that's an item that I'm going to take action on in a later time. And then you're going to take action. We're going to help you get an action plan. We'll show you about how to actually get one from us at no charge. We can hop on a call, consultation. Glenn and I usually charge several $1,000s for these things. I have clients paying $250,000 for the things we're going to talk about on this call. And again, there's some great things here, but you as chamber members, like Ian's a good friend, client, and very close partner of mine in many ways. So he convinced me to do this for you. So the next thing is, of course, is to, and I'll say this is more importantly than all those things, which is to set your sale. Now, one of my mentors when I was in my 20s, I had a business newspaper and I used to promote Jim Rohn throughout the country. And he became a mentor to me. And he would always say, it's not about the economy. It's not about the interest rates. It's not about the government. It's not about regulations. It's not about high taxes. It's not about your competitors. It's all about setting your sale. And what's so important about that is that you learn even if you're not a sales, sailboat person or whatever, is that you can go in any direction, regardless of where the winds are blowing, even directly into the wind, as long as you set the sail properly. It may take you a little longer. You may have to do a zigzag pattern or something like that to go straight into the wind. But the reality is you can set your sail any way you want. And I strongly suggest you that AI is part of the elements of setting that sail that we're going to talk about. So we've got a tsunami coming, and it's almost here in many ways. It seems like it's already here, but it's really just the beginning. And we'll talk a lot about that. So it's not just about setting your sail, even though that's one of the most important things you can do. It's actually about riding this wave and riding it now. There's almost like no time like the present. You've heard that. Well, in this particular case, that is more important than all, because there's going to be a first mover advantage in every single industry, in every single company, in every single sector, in every single geography. That literally that speed to adoption of AI is going to be critically important. And if you miss this tsunami wave, which you can miss waves, it becomes a little bit of a tragedy. And I'm going to say that in a big way because one of my partners, Jay Abraham, we were partners a while back, and when we were partners, he actually did an event called the Brain Trust, and it had the top 25 business and marketing minds in the world attend. So he had like me and 24 other world-class people talk about the top strategies for building their businesses. And one of those people that was on that call was Stephen Covey. Actually, it was a live event in the Staples Arena in Los Angeles. It was actually a live event. But anyway, he says something I'll never forget. And this is something powerful for you too. It's really a tragedy when you spend your whole life climbing the ladder of success and you reach the top and you look around and you find that your ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. It was really such a profound, powerful impact that I want all of us to understand that I want you in your head to go to the top of that ladder and the top of the wall that you're climbing and say, hey, what am I doing right here? Let's look at that place before there. So let's start with the end in mind. And let's look around and say, okay, is that where I want to be? Where do I want this business to be? Where do I want it to be financially? Where do I want it to be in its scaling? Where do I want it to be in my own personal freedom of my time, freedom to spend the money the way I want, where I want, how I want, with whom I want, and all of that? What am I looking to achieve here? And right now is one of the best times to do that. And so therefore, we also want you to learn 3 powerful strategies. And that is, number 1, what is it going to look like when I'm at the top of the wall? Okay, number 2 is what and where is that wall, right? And what is the ladder that I need to actually climb that wall effectively and successfully, right? So that's what we're going to also talk about today. So to recap, pay attention, take notes, take action. More importantly, set your sail, but most importantly, ride this AI wave. And what is that right ladder and what is that right wall that we need to attend? So that's our agenda for today. So hopefully you're all in. If you can go to your chat and just look for it on the line there and say chat, and just put in the word, say, hey, I'm all in or something like that, just to let us know, because I'm going to be all in for you. And the more you're in, all right, good job, John. Be the first. Maybe we get hey, we got more one person all in. Hey, this is great. Okay, good. I like take action kind of people. Excellent. So let's do this. I'm going to just give you a little bit about how this came to be because I think it'll be helpful. Awesome. Let's keep on coming with those all ins. I do world-class masterminds. One of those is the Della Creme Mastermind. It's very high-end people to do a lot of things. I also have an investors mastermind that's very successful. Just did one like last year, and we have over several $billion of clients getting funding for that. Just got an approval for a $440 million one recently with clients. And that's all using the strategies we're talking about here. So I think you're going to love that. I have another one called Business Growth Mastermind. And in these groups and meetings and mentorships that I do for clients and partners, I've got to meet a lot of great people and worked with a lot of great people in a lot of different ways for a lot of different things. You may notice some of the faces on here. I didn't put any names, but you may see me and Glenn up there in the upper right. But Glenn came on board with me because we've done actually masterminds together, and he's a world-class expert in his own right in a different area. And he's spent the last several years really becoming what it is 10,000 hours in to become really awesome in AI. So we said, okay, let's take our business development system. And I had to create an AI mastermind. And therefore, in the process, we came together and said, okay, let's bring all of our teams together. Let's bring all our partnerships together and really nail this thing. All of that I just mentioned below or above got me to the point where Inc. Magazine named my events a top 5 must-attend business growth conference. And I say this mainly just so you know who we are, so you know that this is going to help you in your business growth. And one other one we just did recently is Power Consulting Live. Some of the people on that screen are pretty amazing. Chris Denton, who was one of our major speakers at the event, who went through this event. He was a former McKinsey partner and walked consultants through how to do this stuff. We bring in a lot of these different people for different reasons. Fred is a close partner of mine. He's trained 120 CFOs, and there's a lot of going on with AI and in the financial side of the business and things like that. Vance Morris, he used to work at Disney creating systems and so forth. There's a lot of great people at this event. And because of that, these are the kind of people that we've served, me and my partners, my core partners, like Mike and some of the other ones that were on that list there, over 50 of the Fortune 100. And I've personally, in my business over the last 30 years, served over 20,000 companies, small companies, as well as large, but on that side as well. So you're not getting this from a novice standpoint. You're getting it from big and small and everything in between. And the truth is, even the big companies are starting to finally look at themselves as small companies. In fact, McDonald's looks at themselves as a small company, even though they serve 69 million people a day. And notice, and while we're on that point, okay, think about this. They've actually served 69 million people a day in the hands of teenagers. Now, you may not like the food. You may not be excited about the food, okay? But you know what? If you had a fillet of fish 20 years ago in Beijing, you could still go in, any city in the United States have a fillet of fish, and it was the exact same consistency of anywhere you've had it. So 69 million people a day served by teenagers, okay, in a systemized, optimized, and profitized way. They make 17% or so after-tax profit. Okay, these people are doing an amazing thing with that. And that's really an example of what can happen if you create a systemized, optimized, and profitized company. If you create a systemized company, which at this point, software is at the core of all systems. And in addition to that, we have AI now, which is software, okay, is at the core of taking it really to another level, which we're going to help you all do. So that was a little about who we are. And now we're going to explain a little about what we did and how that can help you. Over the last decade or so, we built and tested and refined what I call the ultimate business machine. And what that is exactly is a systematical approach to build, grow, or scale any company in any industry in any size. I took all my partners, we invested literally, we thousands of hours a year and tens of thousands in their own right, investing their IP, their strategies, and all the things that actually work into a model that helps our clients succeed. Now, you may be, so why this is an AI briefing? Why in the world are we talking about this? Well, because when it comes to AI basically is a power tool. It's actually a power toolbox that has to be put together in a series of methods to actually improve any given area of your company. So what we're saying is, if you're going to use it for the tool for something, the best thing you can use it for is to actually grow, scale, systemize, optimize, and profitize your business. So this is the what that we're going to do with AI. So if you don't understand this part, you're not going to really get it. In fact, you can use the right tool on the wrong project and you'll still have a bad outcome. So we want to show you what you should be doing, and then we'll show you how to do it with AI as well. All right. And then we'll be showing you the whole model. It's actually just a few minutes. I'll go through the whole model. But before I do, I'm going to talk about how we operate and how AI can help you in some of these areas. This is I came up with this about 20 years ago, but it's so profound that it'll blow your socks off if you understand what it is. I call it the 151 strategy, and I think you're going to really love it for a couple reasons. It only takes about a minute to explain, but it's powerful.
This need to be charged.
Yes, it's
Okay.
that battery.
Okay.
All right. Hey, somebody's got their microphone on. If you could mute yourself, that'd be great. Thank you. Anyway, but it's like winning a three-dimensional chess, and it's based on the Pareto principle. You've heard that 80-20 rule. A lot of people have heard it. It just means that basically 80% of the inputs, 80% of the actions, or 80% of the strategies will produce, 20% of those strategies, actions, or whatever, will actually produce 80% of your results. So for instance, if you had 100 strategies, 20 of them would be worth 80% of the value that you would get from doing those strategies. Well, I said a while back, I said, well, let's take that to the next level. If that's true, which it seemingly is true, it's been proven, for a long time, is that if we took a double Pareto, 20% of the 20% and 80% of the 80%, what would we get? Well, it turns out that we get 4% of the strategies create 64% of all the results. And then I said, well, let's take it yet one step further and do a triple Pareto. Okay, Pareto principle is what it's named after some Italian economist. But anyway, the main point is that when you get there, when you take 20% of the 20% of the 20% and 80% of the 80% of the 80%, that means there's one strategy out of 100 that produces more than 50%, 51% of all the results you're going to get. Now, that's a powerful concept if you really get it. Here's why. Number one is that we say, well, Mark, sure, it's probably pretty hard to figure out what that one of 100 is, but what if I just did the second best strategy? Okay. Well, they say, sometimes they even say to me, they're not doing their math, they're not thinking right, but they say it would probably be like 49% value. So it's not that big of a deal. I said, well, yeah, if it's 49 and the first one is 51, that would mean 98 out of 100 are worth absolutely nothing, which means you better get one or two if that's the case. But the truth is, it's not the case. There are value with the other strategies as well, but usually it goes 51, 21, and then it goes down from there. The second best one is like 21%. Sometimes it's a little different from that depending on a couple things. So what we want to do is we've got to take all the different ideas we have in every part of our business and somehow get it to the point where we select one, okay? Because that one will be worth 51% of all the effort, time, money, blood, sweat, and tears that we put into something will all be based on that one strategy. So it's really important that we actually do that. Now, what's really exciting though is after you focus on the one strategy, you get an action plan to put it in place, and you actually do that strategy well. Then what ends up happening is that you can now work on what is now the new first best 151 strategy, which may have been the second best strategy before, and so forth. So the bottom line is focus on the one strategy that's the best that you can out of your business and every department as well, and you'll find some great things happen. So what is your 151 strategy? How are you going to create better products and solutions and advice for your clients, whatever it is you do? How are you going to create the enterprise of your dreams and to seize new opportunities and to actually achieve the kind of financial freedom and even time freedom and other things that you want for your business? Okay, for your life, I mean, and to create the life you want. So what we found is that nearly all your problems and actually most of your opportunities can be seized and solved by one powerful business strategy that we're going to discuss in just a minute or two, which I've already kind of alluded to. And we also, though, have a second strategy, which is another 151, but it's really second right now, because if you used AI, but you used it to, play on ChatGPT, then obviously that's not a strategy. That's just having fun. So what we want to do is we want to take both of these things and put them together. As you'll see, that's going to be pretty powerful. So the two strategies that we're going to focus on is, number one, we're going to build the ultimate business machine. That is going to be our number one strategy because, and I can tell you, if you were to type in your problems into the chat, and I suggest you do, your biggest business problem, I guarantee you that the business machine model we're going to talk about solves it. Okay, you might say, you got to be kidding me. Well, it does. And then secondly, when properly using advanced AI, you'll be able to do it faster, better, easier, and other benefits as well. So we're going to go through both of them in about 2 minutes, and you'll see why in a second. I like to look at this as 1 + 1 = 11. First of all, if I meet you and you have benefits and you have benefits and we become in a relationship of some kind, that's a 1 + 1 = 11 type of relationship, right? That's 11. But the truth is, in this case, when you combine the business machine methodology that we're going to go through and AI, you get really the ultimate business machine because it is now quicker, easier, faster, cheaper, everything than it has been ever since I started, in business in the early 80s. So anyway, so this is our program. Like I said, this is something we sell to clients all day long, and we do really well with it. Big clients, small clients, people need money, people just want to grow their whatever part of their business or identify these things. And basically, I'm going to walk you through this model right now. So you're going to love this. You're going to take some notes on this because this is the model. Now, there's going to have labels on here in a second. But once again, as we talked about with Stephen Covey, he said, start with the end in mind. It's got to be about owner's vision. In other words, what is it? What does this thing look like when it's finished? What do I want it to look like next month, next quarter, next year, next 3 years? Am I going to sell this thing? I'm going to make it a legacy business. Do I want to consider it a job for the rest of my life? Whatever it is you want to do, you better know that and know that well, because every decision you make will be based on that. Now, we have a whole assessments process for walking owners through that. And once again, it becomes a lot easier to do when you have AI involved. But simply put, that's what you got to have, no matter what you're doing. The second thing is that there's innovation. Okay, one of my mentors was a protege of Peter Drucker, and he would say to me that Peter Drucker would tell him the definition of business. And the definition of business was he said that business is innovation and marketing, which is, by the way, the next item on our list, which we're going to take it off there just for a second. But that's two that he says business is. And we got to start with those first. And therefore, when you get the right product, solution, offerings to the marketplace, if you get that right, then all of a sudden, and you get marketing right, the ability to find and explain and to identify clients and to systematically convert clients to customers and all that, he said all the rest can be bought. So innovation and marketing and all the rest can be bought. I call it the new IMF, which is innovation, marketing, and finance. If you get those right, you're getting a start. The next level of it is to create a turnkey enterprise, which we could talk about maybe on this call or later. But that's really what it's all about. So owner's vision has what I want to offer the marketplace a lot of times, and plus how I want life to live, how many hours I want to work, all those different things, how much money I want to make. Innovation is what the marketplace needs and wants and will pay for. Okay. And when you put those two together, you got a powerful concept there. And of course, then you got to do marketing. We're going to talk a lot about that too. In other words, how do we systematically go out to the marketplace, find exactly if this is the market that we think it is, we get rid of these people, get rid of these people, find only people who are willing to pay for our offerings and focus on getting a message systematically to them. That's what we do with marketing, lead generation, whatever you want to call it. systematically taking cold people who have no idea who we are, maybe even have no idea about our solution, and systematically be turning them into a hot lead that our sales force can then close. Now, sales forces are got lots of different ways of looking at this. You can actually have online sales, you can have salespeople, you can take the orders yourself. There's all kinds of ways of looking at that. But when you take it sales properly, it's systematically converting those leads to a customer. We can go into that for 3 days if we wanted to, obviously, but that's basically the next thing. Now, notice we got owner's vision. Without it, we won't make any decisions, right? Two is we now have the best products in the world. None of that's even valuable unless we could effectively market it and find leads who are willing to even talk to us. And then that doesn't even make any difference if we have no sales. So everything so far has been, okay, we better do all four of these things or we're not going to really be where we want. Now, the next two also come in a pair because after you sell, you got to do two things. You got to do operations, or what we consider client fulfillment, whatever. Every business has got different terms for each of these items. Customer service could be experience and so forth. There's different names for each of these. But really, it's about two things. One is operations is designed to at least do exactly what you promised the customer. Okay, in other words, if you do less than what you promised, you're a thief, right? You promised this, you didn't deliver. If you do as promised, you're a mediocre player in the marketplace, and you probably won't get really far if you actually just do exactly what you're expected to do. But if you can create the right kind of experience, what we call a raving fan experience, now all of a sudden you are doing more than expected. And what we like to do is go the extra mile. Okay, kind of like the ancient proverb says, right? To go the extra mile, because if you can not only go 1 mile, but you go 2, right? What ends up happening is they start to say, "Who are you? Why? Man, these guys are the best people in the world." They want to tell everybody about it. They want to tell all their friends, their business associates, whoever kind of business you're in, because now you're really turning them into raving fans, and all of your marketing gets easier. So once again, owner's vision, innovation, marketing, and sales. Now you're fulfilling the client's needs, and you're over fulfilling, and they're actually going the extra mile with them. Now you think, man, I got a great business. What else do I need? Well, a lot of people have that, but they're working 110 hours a week. Okay. So the truth is, if all those things are irrelevant unless you have the proper team, you got to have other people doing all of that. If you don't actually have those other people properly doing that, where they wake up every morning, like the salespeople wanting to talk to strangers. We've been told since they're children not to talk to strangers. Well, salespeople, to make money, they got to talk to strangers, right? Or people who love, designing new products or designing marketing campaigns or doing whatever the client fulfillment work is in your business and so forth. So you got to have the team down, recruit, hire, and train the people. And once again, these two go hand in hand with the next thing, which is systems. In other words, if you have a team without systems, you're going to have anarchy, you're going to have inefficiencies, and clearly not optimization. Okay, and these two areas are, of course, big in AI as well, because obviously what AI really is systems. And it's because it's software, and it can be used to automate, it can be used to augment, it can be used to improve people's work, it can be used for all kinds of great things that we'll talk about in a little bit. But literally, the systems run the business. That's how McDonald's does it, or Chick-fil-A, or any of these other companies that actually have serving millions of people systematically, and they create an amazing result and raving fans. So you got that. The systems run the business. You now have controls in place. You got all of the things that you need. You say, man, what else do I need? Well, of course, you could be doing all of that and not make any money, right? And as different experts have said, profits are really a theory, because you can have profits without actually collecting the money. You can have receivables, accounts receivables on your ledger, and of course you may never collect that, so it's not really profits, right? But we focus on several things. We focus on profits, expense reduction, and increased revenue. We also we predict. We have a predict model, PREDICT, and D stands for property debt management. I is integration of finances with all these other things. How do we improve our profitability in marketing, profitability in sales, profitability in customer experience, profitability in all these different numbers that we look at, all the KPIs, scorecards, critical success factors, all of that. So, and then of course, after you have that, you have cash flow, which is C. And all of that, in my opinion, doesn't make any difference unless you have T, which is take home pay, right? And of course, that could be kind of complex sometimes, but you get the point. So you better have a financial system in place as well. At this point, most people think they have a successful company. They got great products, happy clients, a marketing machine bringing on more leads, and sales being converted, happy clients, raving fans, a team doing it most of the work, and all of that. And then systems running it all. And then, of course, they're making money hand over fist, and it's all accounted for, and they got good systems for all that. But the truth is, the average business owner goes from doing all that stuff to then moving into management. So the truth is, they really need a management system now in place to actually do the hiring, recruiting, and training of the people who run the systems, who actually do all the other functions in the company, so they can now have a little, what we call turnkey prototype. It's an optimized, systemized machine that just produces money for them because they have other people managing it, other people doing it, other people doing the innovation, marketing, sales, experience, and client fulfillment, all that. And now they've got what they really need. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a business machine. And at this point, I can tell you almost any problem you may have, if you had what I'm just talking about there, what I mean by that, of course, I've explained everything because we have our limited time. That's where you're at. The last 2 minutes that I spent a whole lot of time on, but after that, we have another element that's called the mastermind. This includes all your outside vendors, outside advisors. This could be everything from a tax accountant to a marketing consultant to a accountant to a lawyer, all kinds of different people who have to be utilized properly in the entire business to make all of it work. We can go into a lot more detail with that. And then the last thing is leadership. So if you took this little turnkey little thing that you're doing in maybe one area, one city, or whatever, you can now start duplicating a team or duplicating a store or duplicating a whole city, duplicating a country, and actually all that, which you need now another level of leadership, because the management is typically going to manage the entity, right? This team, this prototype, this systemized little machine. But then if you're going to have many machines, you need a different level of leadership to make that happen. So hopefully that was helpful. But now I'm just going to take it one step further, which will take about 30 seconds, and you're going to really see some amazing stuff here. As it turns out, Gandhi said something pretty profound. He said that you can't change one department of your life without affecting all the other departments. Well, the same thing goes in business. You can't affect or change one area of your business without affecting all the other departments. So really, owner's vision here connects to all of the other ones. There's 11 connections there that need to be addressed. Innovation, the same thing. It connects to all these things, right? What the innovation team, if you're a small company, you may be doing all of these things, okay? But the point is that what you developed and what you marketed and sold has to equal what you're fulfilling, right? So there's a lot of connections, and it's got to look at the money. Hey, how much are we selling this for? And therefore, how much are we making based on what promised and what we actually designed originally in our innovation and so forth. So all marketing has to connect with these, sales connects with all that, experience, all these things connect with each other so that you can actually have these. And there's 66 connections there, which we call Route 66, because me and my family travel a lot and we love Route 66, and it just so happened to be that there's 66 connections. And so that's what we call it. So Route 66 is the route to the ultimate business machine, is really what it is. So hopefully that's helpful. Now, there's a couple promises we made to you, and I want to make sure we live by every one of those promises. You got an action plan coming. We also have our $100 million board of advisors. Hey, Glenn, could you share with them just for a moment? What actually, right after I pulled the screen up, this is how you get the freebie things, and this is how you can get a consult with us. This is how you can get the $100 million board of advisors app. That is an AI app that actually, as if you were to hire the best people in the world to help solve your problems. So what you can do is you can scan that using your phone thing. If you know how to do that, there's an actual link there. If you want to just type that into your browser, there's no way to, actually, I guess we could put that into the chat if you needed to. I guess I'll just type that in there real quick. AI strategies 360.com/consult. And you can just set up a time to have a consultation and to get all the things we promised. or you can even call the number at some point and schedule a time if there's not an available time on that list. Okay, so there you go. So Glenn, tell them just a minute or two about the Board of Advisors app.
Yeah, Mark and I are really excited about the app. We created this for our high-end clients, and as a gift for all of you, we want you to experience freedom to have your own board of advisors. As Mark said, one of the keys in our business machine is to have a mastermind, and it's really good to have an AI board of advisors. That's how we design this. You choose your 9-member board, solve any business problem, any executive problem, you could even use it to solve a personal problem, a theological problem if you want. But the cool thing is with this is it's embedded within our process is a way for you to begin to look and see how AI actually thinks. In the AI world, we have inputs and we have outputs. You type into ChatGPT 4. I trust that all of you have 4. If you don't have 4, I highly recommend it. Use Claude. Make sure that you set up with both of those. They are fantastic tools. Personally, I like ChatGPT 4 just because there's the GPT store. You can build out your own customized GPTs. One of the things that we'll be doing, those of you that are working with us, is to help create your own persona for your company. And everything that you do is going to be run through your persona that we help you create. And it'll ensure that all your marketing, all your sales, everything you do is optimized around your persona. Some people like to use avatar. I don't really like to use avatar. Avatar means fictitious. Persona really means getting into the mind of your ideal client. And Mark's going to talk more about that when it comes to beginning to look at how to use the business machine. So we created the $100 million AI board of advisors to solve your most pressing problems, as well as getting you a chance to take a look at how AI thinks. Between the input, the output, what goes on in between there is, you know, um, referred to as the black box. Now you get a chance to actually watch your chairperson of your board of advisors, which is ChatGPT, to moderate a discussion in terms of solving any particular problem that you have. The more pressing, the better the app is, I'll tell you that. And we'll also develop for you a customized plans. We use it personally all the time to audit. Everything I'm doing goes through my board of advisors. It's a really cool tool. As Mark said, all AI is just advanced software. The problem is most people are playing at AI. At best, they're trying to automate or accelerate what they're doing. That's what 99.999% of people that are truly thinking they're using AI. Tonight, we're talking about advanced AI. It means learning how to and understanding how to amplify and augment AI in your lives. Because the reality is, that AI is just a derivative of your intellect, of your ability to be able to use AI. And so as we move forward here this evening, we're going to talk to you about how to use AI in ways that your competitors aren't. Because if you want to stand apart in today's market, it's absolutely critical that you not only are using AI, but you're using AI optimally. Because we all know, the AI space is exploding. And so tonight we're talking not just about not drowning anymore, but riding the AI wave. And certainly our $100 million AI board of advisors is a great tool, and you're going to love it.
It's a great starting point. And of course, we will walk you through how to get that all set up if you happen to be new to any of that. And once again, Glenn and his team will help that side of it easily. You won't have any trouble with that, but it's a powerful tool for getting advice on the fly if you just have a quick question that you need answers to. All right, so we're going to now do this because in order to have the right grounding for talking about advanced AI, we actually have to talk about what's currently going on with AI. And I call this the good, the bad, the ugly, and the truth of AI. And we found about 7 different myths that are going on out there. And so we're going to go through these fairly quickly, but we'll also show you about how to consider this instead. So number one is really an AI implementation is overwhelming and complex. Okay. Now, some of you maybe lost Glenn when he was talking about, Chat GPT and this and that. What is it? All that. Who knows? You've heard a lot about it. We don't know what level of complexity you're at, but we do know that what we've done is at AI Strategies 360 is we've streamlined an adoption process to make it very simple. I do group mentoring programs for clients all the time because most people can't afford $250,000 for a project like some of my bigger clients do. Some people need a lot smaller number. Some people just need a very simple process to get them going on something like that. And so that's really what this is all about. It's really a lot easier than you think if you actually just understand, if you have a system again, right? It's just a very simple walkthrough. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit later about what we call the AI power. Literally, what we've done is we've developed an entire system around 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. So 5 hours a week. And literally, you'll be systematically building every part of your business. Okay. In fact, we really call this thing the 1-10-100 principle. Okay, which basically, if you look at the little graphic there, is it's like an exponential growth of because everything leads to each other, adds on each other, and literally you go faster and faster and faster and faster and more effective and all of that. And the one stands for 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, is the equivalent of like investing 10 hours of actual time. It's only 1 hour, but it's like you invested 10 hours. So you get a whole free day almost of business time if you do this the right way. And actually it's spelled wrong there. It should say 100. It's actually got a little error there. It's 1-10-100. And the 100 is 100 times the results that you would have gotten from the same amount of time. So it's a
Mark, if I
really
could just
amazing.
step in there for a sec.
Sure, go
That I
for it.
wanted, we
Yep.
kept this. I wanted to keep that actually that graphic there, just because I want all of you to know that AI is not cut out for deterministic solutions, like when it comes to numerical values. Now, there's a way to augment that. But I just wanted to, I felt very comfortable keeping that because, first of all, to get AI to actually spell words correctly requires a little bit of know-how, and actually getting numbers down properly even more. So that's still,
What people may
LLMs
not
and
realize, but sorry for interrupting, that graphic was created with AI, and a lot of the
yes.
graphics in here were all created with AI. So
Yeah, exactly. So we just wanted to let you know that AI is not perfect. It hallucinates. And so it's really important that you know how to leverage it and use it properly to eliminate or drastically cut back on its hallucinatory problem.
oh boy, I could say some really funny jokes about that. All right, well, all right. So this is a big AI can wait until tomorrow, tomorrow. I mean, there is obviously this common belief about this is that okay, I'll wait till this happens. I'll wait till that happens. There's a lot of reality. I mean, once you take this answer to this and give us a minute or two about this because it's so important. Um, that what we're supposed to be dealing with that has to happen right now. I believe I could knock it out of the park, but you might be able to do better than me.
Yeah, I can't stress enough, everyone. We are talking to companies left, right, and center every single day. And companies today are just, they're not sure where to go. We could show you a graph right now, and due to a limited time, just we call this the acceleration age today. And the fact and the reality is that everything now is accelerating. Peter Diamante and others have called this the acceleration age, just because everything is changing like literally every single day. Our company, Mark and I, and internally, we live and breathe AI. It seems like 24/7 just to stay up in this industry, and the work that we're doing in terms of consulting, and actually the work that we're doing in terms of done for you, building out customized models that use companies' data, and so that they can build out their own private agents within their company. And so, in other words, as Mark just presented here, delaying AI adoption is ceding ground to your competitors as we speak. So we need to, our goal here tonight is to help you begin to get on top so that you can confidently get in front of the AI wave. And I really like this
Yeah.
quote: the general makes many calculations before the battle wins. And what we're here to start showing you is a framework for you to begin to get out in front of the AI, uh, this whole transformation that's going on, because it's not going away. You know, a lot of people think that AI is going to replace people, and the reality is that's not true necessarily. It's more like
Oh yeah.
AI powered people are going to replace people that don't know how to use AI, because the reality is that the number of jobs that are going to explode because of AI is astronomical. Sure, you know, as people or as companies retire people off, many of those people but won't be replaced. But you know, if you look at every time a problem is solved, if you look down through history, you know, there's a ratio of one problem solved, 50 more problems created. And that kind of ratio, you know, that's just a rough guesstimate. But the reality is that as AI solves more problems and people powered with AI solve more problems, it's going to create more and more problems to be solved. In order to do that, we need people today, and each of you within your own company need employees that are all AI powered.
So that was good, Glenn. So one last thing about this. So picture this. We're leaving from New York or wherever you guys are at, Long Beach or wherever, and we're gonna race to California. And if I say I get a 1 day start from you, okay, as long as I run as fast as you, okay, I will win. That means that your competitors have to run faster than you in order to win. Now, for every day I have an advancement, they have to run faster and faster and faster to even catch up. Now, if you happen to have a way of running faster than they could even run, okay, then all of a sudden they could never catch up. So first mover advantage is so important in a lot of different ways here, and that's why we're here to help with that. So myth number three is that it's going to take a lot of time to implement AI. As I told you before, we've created a process that we basically call the AI Power Hour, which we take everything we've learned, all the strategies, the systems, the business development stuff, and we've helped you to literally work on the most important item. Every time you're focusing on a different part of your business, we have a 151 strategy assessment that helps you say, okay, what is the next best thing you could do? And with AI, we're actually helping use the equivalent of like a chess playing computer to think 4,000 moves ahead in order to effectively help you determine what that best decision or decision should be. So it's really important to understand that. And therefore, it doesn't take a lot of time. For time's sake, I won't go into too much detail until maybe later. All right, myth number four, AI will replace the human workforce. Glenn just talked about that. So we don't have to really talk more about it right now, but it's like, I loved his quote that he just said, which was, it's not really, AI replacing people. It's AI powered people replacing AI non-empowered people. And that's really what it's about in so many different ways. We see that in every single facet of what's going on there. Number five is without a mentor, integration is just a guessing game. And the truth is, and this is the reason why that's the case. Not everybody says this, but they do think that they need one, and that's true. But the problem is that without a mentor leading, I'll give an example. Uh, our teams collectively spend thousands of hours a week in evaluating the best ways of doing AI. Okay, we take all of that and invest it into every power hour. Okay, so you got to take these things and say, okay, what is the best strategy? They've spent a lot of time figuring out what these best strategies in these different situations are, and therefore trying to do that yourself is basically impossible. So literally, you've got to make sure that you do have the kind of mentors, and of course, we're those mentors, but you don't have to take us. I would suggest you take whoever you can get. Okay, but if you can't get the best, at least get something. Number six is, AI won't have a significant impact in my industry. I'm a plumber. Okay, how is that going to help me, right? Okay, we have so many examples of it being used in every single one of those areas that I went through in every business. And the truth is, even if you never used it in your business, you would still be the most important tool you could possibly use. And here's why. The reason is because it's the tool to create the business of your dreams. Okay, sure, you may not be able to do plumbing with AI, but could you create the number one marketing campaign that will create a systemized, optimized company that systematically generates leads? Well, we're going to talk about that a little later. We have some marketing people on the call, so they understand that AI, there's a lot going on there to successfully create a marketing machine or a lead generation campaign and so forth. And so it's really you do not want to assume that. I'm going to let you take this one on about the same topic here. Glenn, why don't you just take a minute to kind of talk about Alex and Richard real quick?
Yeah, this is this what we have here is really the summary of where we're at today in business, and everything has happened so quickly. I could tell you, having been recognized by Adobe 20 years ago and creating one of the very first ebook authoring programs, I realized that with the advent of ebook technology and PDF files and exe files when they were in their infancy, that for those that didn't have the ease actually of becoming a published author, you didn't have a book, you wouldn't be surviving in today's market. And especially if you wanted media attention and you want speaking engagements, to be seen is the best way to sell and when people see you, and especially when they see you in the area of as an expert. And the reality in today's market is not just about being an expert because everybody can be an expert. The reality is today it's about being credible and understanding how to leverage AI like Alex has and many of our clients with a cutting edge AI strategy. You can easily become the de facto standard. Now, when I say easily, I don't mean it's easy. I mean you can easily do it if you have the right framework, the right process, the right system, the right mentor, and you're taking the right action. Because the reality is, all of us only have a certain amount of time every day. And so, what we want to be able to do is ensure that we're doing the 151 principle. That's why Mark started with that, and which would leverage the 110, 100 principle. That is, if we can just nail the one activity and we can then supercharge it with AI. So what Mark was talking about, the 151 principle is really just, one activity that's creating 51 results. But if we empower it with AI, we can actually start now supercharging that 1 hour to create 10 hours or 100 hours of what we call ROR or return on results. And so Alex represents that person. And you might have seen, stories um, in online. I was in a generative AI think tank a year ago when AI was just, taking off with the release of ChatGPT. I was on with a lot of leading entrepreneurs, and we were all discussing, ways to create the first $1 trillion company with AI. And that's really what Alex represents today, is somebody that takes what we're talking about today and leverages this 151 principle, leveraging that into a 1 hour power hour, into 10 hours of result, into 10 hours of leveraged productivity, and into 100 hours of results. So you're not going to get caught like Richard has, and that is in the area of hesitation. And, what I see so many people today is when they're not sure about something, they hesitate, and hesitation leads to indecision like Richard here, and 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 hesitation leads to indecision, and indecision leads to not that you're not going to do something, but you're going to do it tomorrow, and that's procrastination, right? And so we're here so that you don't procrastinate, which the root evil of procrastination is hesitating. And it's so easy to hesitate today because there's so much going on. So we want you and we want to help you like we've helped the Alexes of the world to use these concepts, these principles, these frameworks to help you systematize, optimize, and profitize, just like Mark has been talking about.
Very good. Excellent, Glenn. So let's be like him, Alex, and make this happen. Anyway, so number seven, this is our last myth, and we're going to kind of go into how to use these things for the different things we're talking about. And a lot of people think you have to completely have a complete business overhaul, which is daunting. It's like climbing Mount Everest, right? And nobody really wants to do that. But the truth is, the 151 approach we take actually means that's not going to happen. Okay, what that means is that you're going to focus on the one thing that makes most of the difference. Okay, as an example, like in a simple assessment would say, okay, I've got no leads coming in, but every lead I get, my sales people, sell, and I make them happy clients. Well, if that's the case, then you got to create a lead machine, right? Or if you have hundreds of leads coming in and you sell one out of 100, you got a sales problem. It's actually pretty simple to figure that out, right? Or you're selling 100, you got 100 leads coming in and you sell all 100 of them, but they go out the back end and they start talking bad about you because you can't properly fulfill all the jobs you have. So you have an operational problem. Okay. The point is, or you're doing all of it right, but you're not making any money. Yes. Where's the mouthpiece?
Oh, here.
Christy, you got to go
Hey,
on.
Christy, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, so that's the scoop there. What we want to do is we're going to start small. It's incremental change. And that's what we want to focus on. So this is now really getting into the nitty gritty, if you will, of AI and how it's going to help you with your business. Now that you have a foundation understanding what is it you should do with your business, you need to create a business machine, but you also need to create an AI powered business machine. And if you can do that, you will be one of the happiest campers on the planet. You'll have time freedom, you'll have money freedom, you'll have people, you'll have all the what, the who. You get to spend your time who you want with. You'll have the how much freedom, which is how much money can you spend with whom you want to spend it with, where you want to spend it, and when and how often. Okay, that's really what a business machine does. You have this turnkey prototype running like a little machine, and you can just watch it grow. Now you could spend some time building one of these things, and trust me, it was a lot harder 10 years ago when we did this for clients than it is today. Okay, so it's time to act on that. And so there's three areas really of this business for growth. I want to make sure we don't spend too much time on this, but each of these three things are reasons why AI will help you grow. What I think I want to do, though, is kind of skip going over the details on that and go straight into using AI in the business model. So we're going to go back through it real quick, and we're going to say, okay, how do we use this for owner's vision? How do we actually use that to in AI? And so there's a lot of different ways of doing that. Maybe you could just talk for a minute or two about how you would use AI in an owner's vision process, even if you didn't know our owner's vision process, Glenn, and you knew you had to do it. Okay, what would you do to help people say, okay, I need to figure out exactly where I want to be, exactly where I want to go, exactly where my business looks like when it's finished? What would you tell people? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah. When I heard Christy there, I actually muted myself too, because I thought maybe I'm the one who's creating that noise. So there's different approaches that you can take in terms of creating your owner's vision. And certainly we have a proprietary process that walks everybody through owner's vision. But one of the quickest areas that you can do is leverage the $100 million AI board of advisors. You can select your own board of advisors. So who would you like to be on your board of advisors? You have the opportunity to select, whoever you want. It could be Steve Jobs, it could be Elon Musk, it could be the late great Jim Rohn or Stephen Covey. The late great Stephen Covey, has Mark has alluded to a couple people. So
And
you
these
can
people,
choose. You
this
can
is
have
a free
AI.
tool. This is a free tool
It's
that you can use from us. I mean, we paid a
yeah,
lot of money to develop it, but you
yeah.
can have it at no charge.
Yeah, no, exactly. So you can have it sit on your board of advisors. You can say, select my board of advisors for me. And then you want to address the big problem. I want to see a step-by-step process whereby which my board is going to solve an owner's vision for me. And I, first of all, I'm not sure what's going to go into that. So I would like the board of advisors to decide what's going to go into my AI board of advisors. And then you can let AI, our app, our $100 million AI board of advisors, begin to start addressing your problem with the chairperson, which is AI, in this case, ChatGPT 4, walking through with the board of advisors, getting all their inputs, and then working on building out a consensus model whereby each person is heard, each person that has opposing ideas argues with one another, and you'll see how your board makes a decision. Now, if you're not happy with somebody, you can replace them at any moment. But the really cool thing is, as I mentioned, is you're going to have a customized owner's vision. It'll be truly customized in ways that your competitors can't because you've got a really powerful tool at your hands. And also, you can then ask it to audit against the top owners' visions frameworks. And so it'll give you an option to choose a number of models, and you can then do an audit against that owner's vision so that you've got a framework now to build your owner's vision.
Thank you. That is awesome. I just got a warning for our time. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of speed it up a little bit. Now we'll try to leave some time for questions. So make sure that you can actually start putting your questions in. But anyway, you get the idea, even though it might be a little technical for some, the truth is it's actually not. It's Glenn and our team will actually walk you through it. Again, this is at no charge. You can just, as a part of it, we want you to experience some benefits there. Just we'll have a consultant talk about what a customized action plan for you would look like. Anyway, so that's number one. Of course, there's innovation as well. And when it comes to innovation, again, it's what does the marketplace want? What does the marketplace want? And you can use AI to successfully find this information out. I'll give you an example. We'll talk a little bit about this in marketing in a second, but I want you to understand that right now, 97% of all people type into a search engine before they buy anything. And guess what? That data is available. Which means if you use the right AI set of tools, you can know what demand is for almost anything because they all type it in before they actually buy. They do research before they buy. In business to business, it's less. It's like 89%, okay, that they research online before they buy. But literally, you can create content around it. More importantly, you can create products around what that demand looks like. And knowing how to do that with AI, that not only successfully helps you know what they're buying, but what they're typing in. I call it a think source or a market thesaurus, which is basically saying, what are they typing about the things I sell? What are they typing about the industry I'm in and so forth? So innovation AI is the ultimate in helping you figure out how to create the products, services, solution, and advice that's going to knock it out of the place, out of the park in the marketplace. Really important stuff. All right, let's go to marketing. Now, when it comes to marketing, again, we're going to simplify it for the sake of argument. And this is a lot connected with innovation. But what I mean by simplifying it is that we're going to say of all the different strategies you could possibly create, we did a 151 analysis on it. And guess what? The number one out of all the different marketing campaigns and funnels and direct mail and all that stuff, what is the number one? Now, it's a little different per industry, no question. But remember this, 97% of consumers research online before they get started, and 89% do business to business do before they get started, before they buy. So what we have found, and it makes a lot of sense, is that it's a content marketing campaign. Okay, we like to call it a content marketing machine. Okay, because if you can be there when they're looking for what they're looking for, and you can have the content that they're looking for, and you can actually properly create the content that is designed to actually not only what they want to buy, but said to them, explained to them in the way they want to hear it. But now we also have influencer AI, which allows you to actually successfully convince them to buy in the ways that are the most successful. Obviously, that is a week-long training for somebody, but it's not going to be here. But the point is, all that is available right now. And then they create the content, the blog posts, the videos, and all of that. In 1 hour, you could create the equivalent of 10 hours, and which would produce what you couldn't produce before in 100 hours of results, 100 times what you could imagine getting. And you do that through a content marketing machine type approach. Most of those things are finding the right words, delivering the right words, having the right content created in all the different modalities. And all this stuff can be AI automated, AI workflowed. In fact, you can even, the little work you have to do, you can even pass off to people who have already been certified in these different technologies so they can do it for you. But no matter what happens, you still got to give it a little bit of the advice as the leader of the company to say, okay, this is the direction I want to go, and so forth. So there's a lot there. I like to say, what is the biggest problem? Okay. This is the biggest problem. Okay. This is the biggest problem. Okay. That is marketing technologies. Okay. So how many of those do you want to implement? How many of those do we want to evaluate? How many of those do you actually want to test to see, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't work with that. Oh, I mean, do you want to learn how to do these things? A lot of them are just shiny objects, and then it's what to not to do, or are you trying to do all these things? It doesn't work. But with AI, you can actually have it do it for you. Okay, you can actually have it develop the machine you're looking for. Now, that may seem impossible, so we're not going to tell you to have you believe the impossible. What we're going to do is simply tell you that you can start with what is possible right now. Okay, and as you see it, the impossibilities decrease and the possibilities increase. This is one of our strategic partners. We've actually got strategic partners in almost every area of business. And one of them put this together just a little bit, talk about what these are. This is an example of maximize your impact with an AI-driven content marketing machine. Okay, really, it's less expensive, more powerful, and it helps you research what's going on. It helps you evaluate how things are working. It helps you change the copy of how to sell it, how to service it, how to build it, what you should build going forward, what the trends are, what the competitors are looking for, all that. And it builds trust in the process. One of the things that we do in this is we also talk about a content strategy, because with a content strategy, you find yourself really seeing, okay, which way is the marketplace going? Where is the trend? Okay, you may have the best product in the world today, but 3 months from now, it could be completely obsolete. So what you have to do is you have to actually use this kind of approach to make that happen. So as an example, you can do this to be in front of people that your competitors have no way of even because they're hidden under rocks. They're typing, if I have a back pain, I could need a Tylenol, I could need a chiropractor, or maybe I need a back surgery. I have no idea, right? But if I could somehow have something navigate me through to find out what that answer is, okay, that's what we're talking about here. It's a knowledge wars is what's really going on here. And the thing is, you better have a knowledge warrior, an AI empowered knowledge warrior system to back you up, or you're not going to win. You're going to lose. Anyway, there's a lot of great advantages to that. This was an example of one of our clients who did this. John basically had 12 years in real estate law, and he was normally relying on referrals and things like that, highly competitive market. And what he did was he launched a content strategy, a content marketing machine. And what happened here was amazing. He had a 305% surge in website traffic, even if it was just for his audience, his notability, his authors, his authority, his his marketplace presence and all that. That would have been amazing. 50% increase in lead generation, client base expanded by 30%. So it means, on average, everything being equal, that means his revenues increased by 30%. But when you increase revenues by 30%, you usually increase profits by 40%. If you understand how the finances work on that kind of thing. He's now recognized as a thought leader, because when a media is trying to do an interview or a podcast or whatever the case may be, they type in the leaders in this area. And because he's properly got the content out there that the search engines will find on him, all of a sudden he's now a thought leader in the space. And you can see how this is really just goes over and over again. The key is to create content that your clients are already looking for. You have to read their minds. And the truth is, it's not really possible without some serious software tools. And that's what AI is. Now they have these software tools that if you understand which ones are the right ones and how they fit into what I call an AI orchestra, okay, where they're each playing their own little parts and they work together in harmony, that's what it's all about. And what's possible here really is market domination in your niche if you do it right. And that's really what we want to do for you. And that's what this lawyer John did with our team. So it's really important that you look at that and try to say, okay, if I want to make this happen, how do I make it happen? Well, you've got to get into some kind of program that helps implement AI into your business. And even if it's not marketing, it's your biggest problem. It might be your biggest problem coming soon if you don't effectively if you don't do something. So the next thing, of course, was sales. Again, we're not going to really go into a whole lot of details to these, but even if it was just having better influence enabled scripts that properly show you exactly how to handle certain objections that clients have, or how to effectively influence them to make a sale, how to effectively deal with a client who's got certain personalities issues or whatever. All of these things are possible with the right set of AI tools. And we have a whole program for sales that we have on our team. People have trained 1 million salespeople, and we've taken all of that in AI that, if that's a word. Okay. But anyway, you get the point. The next one is experience and operations. Of course, these are between experience and operations. I'm going to kind of skip over some of that for time purposes because a lot of it is based on, we'll call it industry specifics, and we can't really go into that much detail. But just think of it this way: an AI-powered project manager that's always looking at what has to be done, what's done, what needs to be done. This client's saying this. It's always looking at what's going on. In this case, with customer experience, like these customer experience chatbots, this is an example. We read a study about this. One of our partners had this thing where 95% of customers returned because they could get their questions answered when the office was closed, or they could just get their answers without even talking to somebody. It happened a lot where they could do other things while they're waiting for it to think or whatever it does. And as an example, so you want these kind of things if you have clients who that work with you in that kind of way. That's an example. And that's operations. I'm going to kind of skip the operations side because it's very much specific to each one of you. Team building is huge. Okay, how to recruit people. There are so many AI tools to find the right person who's looking for a job right now, who absolutely loves doing what that job role has to have. Okay, and actually wakes up every morning wanting to count beans if they're an accountant, wanting to talk to strangers if they're a salesperson, wanting to work at, maybe if it's a lawyer, legal briefs all day long with, under the candlelight at midnight. Who knows what these things are, but you can find these people, identify them, evaluate them, and find exactly who the right people are for every position. Talk about just think of how much you could save if you could find one more person who could duplicate. Okay. And then if you AI empowered them, how they could duplicate you by 10. So it's really important to actually look at these. There's employee engagement numbers. There's some of these things can even be automated to handle job posting tasks and simple stuff that normally has to be done by people. But you get the point of how this works. So now you got this team, you got the great products, you got marketing and sales going, you got an operations and customer experience going, you got a team, you got all these systems being developed. You've got now a finance system. I told you a little bit about our finance system, but what I didn't tell you is our partners, which we've been working with for 3+ years, actually have the equivalent of an automated CFO. You could pay $250,000, okay, a year for a CFO that does some of the things. It plugs right. It's like an onboard diagnostic to a car where they plug it in and say, okay, what's wrong with the car? Well, this plugs into your finances and said, okay, you're going to be out of money in 123 days. Okay, here's where, all those kind of things, doing reports that a CFO would take 5 hours in a few minutes, things like that allow you to see the whole picture of cash flow, take home pay. Hey, what if we just added $1 to the price of this thing? How does our whole financial model change? Things like that. So that's an important thing to look at, not only software, but AI in the process of properly evaluating your companies. And now it's becoming extremely easy. And
Hey,
then, of course,
Mark,
there's management. Yeah, go ahead.
as a just a follow-up comment to that for everybody here, if you don't have a CFO for your company, or you're paying for a fractional CFO, or maybe you've got a comptroller if you're, not that big, or you outsource that, all of you could easily with ChatGPT 4 or Claude, you could load your P&L statements, balance sheet, and you can ask AI to evaluate them for you with a game plan in terms of how to begin to incrementally, with a plan of action, how to improve your bottom line with a game plan for your company. So, the use of AI, we're just kind of touching the basics of what you can do with AI. It's super exciting today.
It is. So once again, here's the QR code and the URL that you can use, or you can call the phone number to schedule a time if there's not an appropriate time on the calendar online. That'll allow you to get your the Board of Advisors app that we have for you, as well as to give you your action plan, because it's got to be customized, because helping you go into one direction isn't going to be helpful. It's got to be a 151 type of thing. Um, so we just a few minutes on this, and I would like anybody who's got a question, now is the time to type it in. Okay, if you got any questions, and I will do our best to make that happen. What we're trying to do is help companies to implement AI successfully. And in the end, believe it or not, I know it sounds crazy, but the 5 hours that we have for our daily power hours, 5 days a week, we already have programs that help you save over 10 hours a week using not only our systems, but AI to help you save 10 hours a week. And all we're asking you to do is invest 1 hour a day for 5 days, which is 5 hours a week. And you find yourself getting 10 hours for every hour that you invest, and 100 times the results. So it really is important. Let's put it that way. And so this is how it works. We typically do a 90-day, group mentoring program for somebody. So you can ask about that if you want. And you can see how that works for you. We have a bunch of principles in our company that we follow. I just want to go through a few of these while I'm waiting for the questions to come in. And the speed to adoption or speed to market principle is based on this 1-10-100, because it literally is like exponential growth. 50 years ago, I didn't really know. Einstein said, the most powerful force in the universe is exponential growth or compound interest. And so the concept is, if you can grow just a little bit. If I started saving $10,000 a year, and I put it into some kind of investment for 10 years, and then 10 years from now you started, but I stopped at 10 years, and you started and you did it for the rest of eternity or the rest of your life, you still wouldn't catch up from me, because of the value of acting now, because the value of acting fast. The compound interest is so big that you can never catch up. It's that important with action as well. Okay, with people, with tasks, with mindset and focus. All these things are important, and that's what we help you do if you're interested. But we have a strategy to help you walk all through this, and I'm going to pull up the chat. Oh, we get questions. How exciting! I think we got questions. Okay, please explain the difference between ChatGPT 4 and 4.0. Okay. Okay. Oh, John Ray Rockfield, thank you for that. Okay, so we'll come to you on that in a minute, Paul. I'd like a few more questions if we can, and then and we'll get to it, because we're almost done with our slides here, and then we can kind of just go straight into questions. So hopefully you can see the power of AI in some case. You've probably already seen it before this call. The question is, do you see the power of acting now on actually doing it systematically? That's the big question. I'd love to see some comments or questions in the chat about what you're thinking it would do. And we're definitely looking forward to seeing you in person when you on these calls. Well, okay, so Ruth just asked a question. You called ChatGPT playing around. How so? Well, because if you don't do it in a focused way, what I mean by focused is systematic. And if you're not working on 151 about what is the most important thing I should do with ChatGPT, which is 99% of the people out there, okay, those two issues alone, forget about assessing what the next place is, but forget about doing it right. It's a great model, but remember this about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is 99% focused on public data. What I mean by that is data on the internet, okay, which is 99% marketing data. Okay, it's not what's behind firewalls, the real stuff, the real data, the real intellect, all of that. It doesn't have really access to 90% of that. And if you understand that, then you want to get access to the other AIs that are large language models, is what they call them, that actually take expertise and give you the most strategic advice as opposed to marketing advice, which is obviously biased and so forth. I could go in more detail around that, but ChatGPT is amazing. It's great. You know, we use it. We love it. Even the app we have works on it, but you have to do it the right way. So that's really what I was talking about there. But thanks for that question, uh, Ruth. Okay, a couple last things. So once again, competitive analysis. I don't want to go through it that much. There's a couple more slides here. We want you to get 100% return on your investment with it, so do it right. We got that. And then the last thing I just want to finish up here, which is this AI power up, because I can't tell you how important this is. It is really, I won't say it's the ultimate habit because there's a couple more habits that are more important, but it's really close to the ultimate habit that it's like if you had something that could leverage you 100 times what you did today, and you didn't use that leverage. You know what Archimedes said? You know, if I have a lever long enough, I could move the world. Well, that's what proper adoption, not only in your company, but in every person who works with you and for you or will work with you or for you. It is so important to do. And the truth is, everybody can spend an hour on this, especially within a short period of time. They're going to see that they're saving money, not spending money or wasting time or anything like that. So it's really, really, really important that you have an AI power hour in your arsenal. And there's so many different things that you could do that will help you make that happen. So anyway, that's that. So I'm gonna let you guys ask any questions you have. I think we sort of ended fairly on time. We got 5 more minutes, and if anybody wants to stay as long as Ian will let them, I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. You can even unmute yourself and ask a question if you'd like. If you don't like to type it in, and all of that. Anyone? I guess, oh, there's another one from Jose. I guess, do you have a prospecting and closing by phone implementation with AI? Absolutely. In fact, we're looking to invest in the company. It's so good. It is so good at closing people automatically. It's a call center that has one of the best AI systems out there that really takes a script, properly does it. It's got all the laws, you know, done the right way, and basically it's off the charts. It's really amazing. For you guys who don't know, you can do a lot with automated calling. Some people are only available in a decent way by phone call, and if you can get them to come on with a client or to set up an appointment and so forth, that's that. We have actually two different companies. One that's going public in I think in the next 6 weeks. I can't mention their name because of that. But there's a couple other ones that we're working with that are amazing for our clients in that area as well. So if you hop on a call, we can talk to you more about it, stuff like that.
Hey, Mark, maybe you could just explain a little bit more about the app, where this QR code leads to, and what it is.
Okay. So this QR code leads to a form that just asks for your name and phone number. Once you press submit, you'll go to a calendar to set up a time with us. That's really all it is. And that time will be you'll be given a short assessment. You'll be emailed an assessment before your call, and even if you can't come up with that'll allow us to have a strategic action plan so we know about your company before you're there. And that's basically what it was. On that call, you'll also get your board of advisors app, and then also there'll be some sessions that that either Glenn or one of his team will actually walk you through how to set it up and how to use it, and how to maximize it, things like that, as well as whatever else you might want to do for continuing with your business. So that's basically what that is. And there's a phone number to call in case there's not a time slot on there for you. or got the wrong times or something like that. Because some people, I mean, you guys are all in Long Beach, so it's a little easier, but sometimes we have people internationally and things like that as well. And then secondly, there's a link there, or you can use the app, which will go to that link that's right there.
Awesome.
That was good.
Well, thank you very much, both Glenn and Mark, for this. This has been absolutely awesome. I don't know, Glenn, do you have any closing words also?
Well, I want to be respectful for everybody's time, but we're Mark and I'm a teacher by passion and training. I always tell my clients that. I was sharing with Mark that, I've been in a privileged position to have, like Mark, mentored thousands of clients over the last 20 years. And many of them have become good friends over the time and have in turn also mentored my boys. We had a model in Canada where one of our homes we owned we branded it the Canadian Lake Home and had a lot of clients come up and gave my boys a chance to be mentored from some very bright people. So Mark and I are honored to to work with some of the brightest minds, both small businesses, people that are looking at scaling, all the way to very large corporations. And we love the process, and I'm a teacher by passion and training, so I just love working with companies and helping them scale.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you,
Thank
Karen,
you,
as
Ian.
well, and appreciate your comment there. Thanks for your thank you. And again, we look forward to talking to you guys. If you need anything, you know how to get us here. Just make sure you take a screenshot of it or something, or a picture, and we'll be looking forward to helping you take this to the next level in whatever way you want. All right. Well, thank you again, Ian. You were great. Appreciate you and uh, the
Shiva.
the board and the chamber and all those guys. Appreciate them wanting to have us on. We appreciate that immensely, and hope this was helpful for everybody. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. I have made a recording of this, and I will make it available to everybody via email, maybe on the website too. So check that out. All right.
All right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, everybody. Have a
Okay.
great
Take care.
evening.
Okay. Good night, everyone.